The man representing himself in the attempted assassination trial of Donald Trump last year on a golf course rested his case today.
Ryan Ruth is on thin ice ahead of his closing arguments on Tuesday. He's been representing himself without a lawyer during the high-stakes trial, and that's created some issues for the judge overseeing the case. His opening statement earlier this month was cut short after less than 10 minutes when he began criticizing political leaders and opining about the origin of the human species. To prevent the same thing from happening again, Judge Eileen Cannon warned him on Monday that if his closing argument is, quote, disconnected from the evidence in the case, she'll cut him off and bar him from further addressing the jury. From federal court in Fort Pierce, Florida, Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Jimmy Kimmel Live is returning tomorrow night. It comes after production on the show was preempted last week after Kimmel's comments following the killing of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk.
In a statement, the Walt Disney Company says Jimmy Kimmel Live will be returning to the air on Tuesday. The Walt Disney Company saying, quote, "We made the decision to suspend production of the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country," end quote. It goes on to say the decision was made to pause the show because comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. The company saying it has spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Kimmel and that they have decided to return the show to the air on Tuesday.
ABC's Alex Stone. The Walt Disney Company is the parent company of ABC News. California residents jolted early this morning by a 4.3 magnitude quake. It was centered near Berkeley in the East Bay. No damages. I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
4:05, and with your KVNU local headlines this hour, I'm Will Feelwright. Well, the Bear River Health Department confirming the first measles case in an unvaccinated individual in Cache County. Health officials say they're now conducting contact tracing to try to prevent further spread of the highly contagious disease. Now, due to medical privacy laws, no further information was released about the infected individual. The health department has identified, though, 2 public locations where exposure may have occurred. The first is the Chick-fil-A restaurant in Providence back on September 11th, and the second is Intermountain Budge Clinic in Logan on September 15th. Now, measles symptoms will typically appear 7 to 14 days after exposure and include a high fever, cough, runny nose, red watery eyes, and a rash. Now, the health department recommends that anyone experiencing symptoms, especially if they are unvaccinated, should contact their health care provider immediately. Now, the best way to prevent measles is through vaccination. The measles vaccine is widely available at local pharmacies, doctors' offices, and the Bear River Health Department. Well, it was a big announcement yesterday. Utah State University finding a new athletics director in Cameron Walker, a native of Rexburg, Idaho. Now, the announcement came from USU interim president Alan L. Smith, who said that Walker becomes now the school's new vice president and director of athletics. Now, Walker, a Southern Virginia University graduate, currently serves as the University of Tennessee's senior deputy athletics director and chief strategy officer. It's a position that he has held since November. Now, Walker expressed his excitement to lead Utah State athletics and continue building on the department's momentum as it integrates into the Pac-12. Now, he earned his Juris Doctorate, graduating cum laude from the University of Arkansas. He also played baseball at Ricks College and later Southern Virginia University. And a Box Elder County Sheriff's deputy is inspiring students at a Utah elementary school to eat their vegetables. Now, just over 2 weeks ago, Deputy Mike Allred, who was shot in the line of duty, had visited Promontory School of Expeditionary Learning in Perry to thank the students for their Get Well letters. Now, during his visit, he left them with a promise to eat their vegetables. Now, students at the school took that promise to heart and created a veggie challenge with both students and whole classrooms pledging that Promontory keeps its promise. Now, the challenge has now reached school administrators, first responders, and even county commissioners. The students have also challenged Deputy Allred to practice what he preaches. Sounds like a lot more veggie eating over in Box Elder County. How cool is that? And weather-wise, going to continue to see still a slight chance of some isolated showers and thunderstorms as temperatures going to stay right around the low 70s for our high today. Tonight we'll drop into the low 40s, and then more sunshine coming for Tuesday and through the rest of the week as temperatures gradually going to warm back up into the low 80s. And it's Allen Law Office that brings you weather here at the top of the hour. If you don't have an estate plan put together yet, well, they can help you protect your loved ones, protect your legacy, and protect your assets. It's what Allen Law Office does best. You can start today by visiting cashlegal.com or just search for Allen Law Office. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News headlines.
It's been a crazy few months with big rainstorms fueling the weeds in your lawn, garden, or empty lot, and the spiders coming inside to beat the heat. You need help. Let Logan Extermination take care of those pesky weeds and unwanted pests with an exterior lawn application and interior treatment for bugs. Call Logan Extermination today before your home becomes enemy territory. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
Weed control starts at $45. Interior spider spray starts at $95.
The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs, recognizing first responders and other deserving individuals in our community. Friday mornings at 8:30 on News Talk KVNU.
For 100 years, the Murdoch Auto Team has served Utah's automotive needs. The generations before us taught us to treat every customer with honesty, dignity, and respect. And as the fourth generation, we'll continue that tradition at Murdoch Chevrolet. During the anniversary sale, receive 2.9% for 6 years on a new Silverado 1500. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Chevrolet in Logan and Woods Cross or online at murdochchev.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Call 888-391-6083 or see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 9/30/25.
This is Clay from Canyon Plumbing and Heating. Fall is here and those chilly Cache Valley nights aren't far behind. Let us check your furnace, boiler, or plumbing so you don't have to worry when the cold hits. Don't wait until you're stuck without heat. Call today and mention this commercial for 10% off your next service. Call Canyon Plumbing and Heating at 435-881-6952. Canyon Plumbing and Heating, keeping Cache Valley warm since 2005.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Monday, September 22nd. I'm Jason Williams. 63, almost 64 degrees here at the Radio Ranch, 4:11 in the afternoon. It's going to get warmer, don't worry. In fact, later this week, we've got highs in the low to mid 80s and at least no frost or freezing in the forecast for the time being. Long-term forecast, I was looking at this over the weekend. There is speculation and, all the factors pointing towards something called a Little Nina. And if that forecast actually comes to be, that does mean that similar to the heat domes in the summertime that drive all the precipitation around us and down to Texas, a Little Nina could actually move air currents in such a way that a similar thing happens this fall and maybe even into the winter. Long-term forecast is that northern Utah is not expected to receive any snow that sticks to the lower elevations, valley floors, until possibly mid-December, even end of December. That's the long-term forecast. So when we get our first hard freeze is anyone's guess, but not anytime soon. And I remember a lot of years where we've already had our hard freeze by now, but enjoy it. A few extra months of those flowers and plants and maybe even gardens. My tomato plants are still trying, but they're not looking great. It is a beautiful day out there. I love weather like this when you get the sunshine with the rain. There was a bit of that on my way to the station today, but just a reminder as well. The first 10 minutes of a rainstorm, as far as the roadways are concerned, The first 10 minutes of precipitation are when the roads are the most slippery. And I saw not one, not two, three cars in front of me on 10th West headed towards the station today from the north. Hit a puddle of water as the rain was coming down pretty heavy there for just a minute or two, and actually lose control for a split second and slam on their brakes. And so, yeah, just a reminder for everyone. We go through this every year. Everyone forgets how to drive in the rain when it hasn't rained for months. Everyone forgets how to drive in the snow when it hasn't snowed for months. I do the same thing. But just a reminder that as the precipitation first hits the roadway, there's a lot of tire residue and pollution and dust that is collected on the roads. And as the rain hits and pools and washes that all around, things are even more slippery in that first few minutes. So be careful out there. Coming up on the show today, a few announcements. They have moved the date for the Let's Talk Logan candidate event. We'll provide the details on that. We have a speaker list for the rescheduled USU stop of the Charlie Kirk tour, now with Erica Kirk and guest speakers, his wife. That will be at September 30th at Utah State University. And in light of that, they have moved the Let's Talk Logan candidate event, originally scheduled to be at the Utah Theater at 6 o'clock on September 30th. But in light of the announcement today of the Charlie Kirk event at USU, and understandably, that's going to draw people from all over the state and folks who just want to, go see what all the excitement is about. It's going to be crowded, to say the least. So in light of that, Mark Anderson shot me a text today and said they'd decided, he talked with all the candidates, and they'd given him the okay to get word out on this. They've decided to move the Let's Talk Logan candidate event at the Utah Theater, originally scheduled for September 30th. It will now be October 2nd, still at the Utah Theater, but now October 2nd. Mark, in a statement, said, "Our goal is to foster an open, respectful, and optimistic dialogue that highlights the ideas to strengthen Logan's future and quality of life for its citizens." And this event, he said, is designed to bring Logan residents together for a forward-looking discussion. And everyone's going to be there. Logan City Council candidates Brian Siemens, Katie Lee Coven, Melissa Daly, Ernesto Lopez, the incumbent in one of the races, and mayoral candidates Alana Nafziger and Mark Anderson. Mark Anderson joined us last week here in the studio. Still waiting to hear from Alana. We'll get a time nailed down for that. And the event will be, it's hosted by the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce, so hats off to Jamie and crew there for getting that happening. So the event will then be moderated by political science professor Dr. Damon Cann, who was also a recent guest on our show, as someone who's been appointed as an advisor to the Form of Government Committee, the Cache County Form of Government Committee we spoke with Jack Draxler about last week. So all these dots are connecting. So the event, again, originally scheduled for September 30th, but in light of the announcement today of the Charlie Kirk event at USU taking place that day, they're going to move it. So instead of September 30th, the Let's Talk Logan candidate event will take place October 2nd. The event will start at 7 p.m. that night, but doors open at 6:30, and they are encouraging people to arrive early so you have a chance to talk to candidates before the event actually gets started. They'll also allow some time for that after the official panel event. And for those who've asked, I talked with Mark a little bit about this, how they have this planned. He's been working with all of the candidates on planning and organizing this. And what they've decided is that instead of kind of a debate-style format with timed responses and things like that, they're going to go with a more open town hall-style format. So I'm guessing that means you'll have all the candidates sitting up there on the stage, maybe separated by race, whether they're mayoral candidates or council candidates, maybe not. And then they'll just start talking, and the audience will have a chance to throw out questions. And some of the topics that have already been decided, they're, of course, going to talk about housing and growth, economic opportunity, drawing new businesses into Logan, infrastructure challenges, and, of course, transportation. That's a given. But other than that, the audience will have a chance to submit questions more specifically as well. So They are giving candidates equal time to respond, so the CAN will serve as the moderator and ask follow-up questions. But again, they've decided not to go with a traditional debate-style format. So if a conversation does break out, CAN can allow that between two candidates. So it should be a great event. It's free, and they plan to end this around 8:30. So they're allowing for an hour and a half of this. And then candidates before from 6:30 to 7 and from 8:30 to 9 will be just mingling with the crowd and able to take additional questions. So Logan residents, to meet your city council and mayoral candidates, this is a free event that is perfect for that. Again, originally scheduled for September 30th at the Utah Theater. It will stay at the Utah Theater, but in light of the announcement of the Charlie Kirk event at USU on the 30th, they will move this Let's Talk Logan event so as to not compete with the Kirk event to October 2nd. So again, October 2nd instead of the September 30th at the Utah Theater. Doors open at 6:30. Candidates will be there then. The event itself starts officially at 7. So, and moderated by Dr. Damon Can. The event hosted and organized by the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce. So I got word on that from Mark Anderson today. Mark, thanks for sending that along. And now the Charlie Kirk event. Everyone knew this was going to happen. The question was when and how. The USU was the planned second stop event for what was originally called the American Comeback Tour of Charlie Kirk. And, of course, everyone knows tragedy occurred. Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University at the kickoff event here in Utah 2 weeks ago. Well, week and a half, yeah, And Erica Kirk had said, we're not going to cancel the tour. She said that early. But details had not been shared yet on what that would look like or mean. In the original calendar, Utah State University was the second event on the tour. So Kirk was going to kick things off at Utah Valley University, and then I think it was, I'm not sure the date originally, but a couple of weeks after the Utah Valley University event, they were going to have a second event at Utah State, and then I think they were moving on to California at that point. So, of course, with Kirk's death, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, things were very up in the air. And today they released a new schedule. So they're not coming back to Utah first. They're actually going to kick things off today. They have kicked things off today in the Twin Cities at the University of Minnesota. And then, let's see, on Wednesday, the tour will hit Virginia Tech. And they've renamed the tour. Instead of the American Comeback Tour, they're calling it This is the Turning Point Tour. And third event on the calendar, they're going everywhere. Montana, Indiana, University of Oklahoma, Auburn, UC Berkeley, Louisiana State. But the third event, after the event Virginia Tech on the 24th, This is the Turning Point Tour will be coming back to Utah State University as planned. And that is September 30th. Now, these are generally day-long events. More details on when speakers will actually take to, I don't really know if there's going to be a stage or if I assume something like that. But because they've got speakers. But we do know the speakers here in Utah, or from here in Utah for this event. So on September 30th at Utah State University, This is the Turning Point Tour will return and renamed. And the speakers will be Alex Clark, Senator Mike Lee, Governor Spencer Cox, Representative Andy Biggs from Arizona, and Jason Chaffetz, former member of Commerce that left early to join Fox News, and is rumored to be considering a run for governor here in Utah. But as I understand, people are a little mad at him still for getting reelected and then jumping ship for a Fox News gig. But we'll see. Anyway, so Utah State University, the Charlie Kirk, This is the Turning Point Tour with guest speakers Alex Clark, Senator Mike Lee, Governor Spencer Cox, Representative Andy Biggs, House Representative from Arizona, and former Congressman Jason Chaffetz. I should say former Congressman and Fox News personality Jason Chaffetz. So That, again, is September 30th at Utah State University, and then they take kind of a break, and October 7th they'll pop back up at Montana State and then head into North Dakota and down to Oklahoma. So there you have it. That official announcement coming today from the Turning Points organization, and that will be, again, at Utah State University September 30th. And one more time, in light of that, they've moved the local candidate event that was planned for that night at the Utah Theater from September 30th to now October 2nd. Let's Talk Logan, with Logan City Council candidates and both mayoral candidates on stage in kind of an informal but structured conversation moderated by Dr. Damon Cann, political science professor at USU, and hosted by the Cache Valley Chamber of Commerce. That, again, has been moved to October 2nd. Doors open at 6:30. Event starts at 7, and that is a free event for all Logan residents. So, well, any resident, really, if you're interested. If you don't live in Logan, but you're still interested in the city council and mayoral race in Logan, you can show up, too. I probably will, just to see what they have to say. So, again, that's October 2nd at the Utah Theater. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. for that Let's Talk Logan event. And announcements out of the way now. On the other side, well, coming up on the show today, Utah lawmakers kicked off what is possibly going to be a full week of special session centered entirely around congressional district boundaries. If you haven't followed the story, long story short, the court said, look, you ignored the voters. You can't do that. Your maps that you drew in the last redistricting cycle are not compliant with what voters wanted when they approved Prop 4 on the ballot with their votes. So back to the drawing board. The legislature griped and griped, but they finally said, all right, we don't agree with the courts here, but we'll do it. And so that process started today. Coming up in the show, some of the audio from their discussion today, a bill that one lawmaker tried to sneak in. Horrible precedent to set. No public hearing, no public notice, just tried to get it to happen this morning. What that bill would have done to change the redistricting process, and why the chair, Senator Scott Sandell, said, we're not going to talk about that. To his credit, I was so glad to hear him say that. All of that coming up later on in the show. Measles case here in Cache Valley. You heard that during the news from Will. We'll talk about where you and why you should and where you can get a measles vaccine, the symptoms, and a little bit of what we know of this case, and also what the measles landscape looks like throughout Utah. And finally, on the other side of this quick break, Utah State University got the thumbs up from the Utah Department of Justice after 5+ years of investigation, followed by kind of hand-holding from the DOJ. USU has, the Department of Justice said, finally fulfilled every requirement of a 2020 resolution agreement regarding how the university responds to and handles situations of sexual harassment on campus. We'll talk about what exactly got the final sign-off announced today at Utah State University right after this. News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Set sail with Princess Cruises for unforgettable destinations, luxury amenities, and world-class service. From the Caribbean to Alaska to Europe and Asia, every Princess cruise is a dream come true. Book your cruise today with Morris Columbus Travel, your vacation experts. Visit morriscolumbus.com.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Prices have been reduced again during Anderson's Seed and Garden Cash and Carry sale. They've marked down all remaining trees, shrubs, evergreens, and perennials to 40% off. But if you pay with cash, you save an additional 10% off your purchase price during their annual Fall Cash and Carry sale. That's 50% off a wide selection of top-notch plants in stock. Get them now before they're gone, but hurry while the selection is the best. Anderson's Seed and Garden, 69 West Center, Logan. Grow something amazing. Cash in on beauty today.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Is Jordan Hansen there?
This is him.
Someone reached out to us anonymously and told us how you work as a counselor at Pioneer Elementary. Is that right?
That's right.
And I guess on top of that, you also coach baseball and have done so for years and worked with youth camps.
I just like working with kids and helping them find their passion and helping them develop their skills.
The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs on News Talk KVNU.
KVNU's For the People. I forgot to mention this while we were talking Charlie Kirk a bit there with the announcement of Senator Mike Lee and Governor Spencer Cox speaking at the Turning Points event that has been now rescheduled. Was originally the second stop on the Charlie Kirk tour before the tragedy that took place at Utah Valley University. And now the tour has been kind of reworked, renamed, and Governor Spencer Cox and Senator Mike Lee, among others, will speak at Utah State University at a Turning Points event on September 30th. While we're on that topic, quickly, I meant to mention this and forgot, but facing some criticism, the Utah Valley University announced today that they would be, I'm not sure if they're contracting or if this is something that they can do just directly through, President's office hiring or something, but facing some criticism for security lapses. Most notably was a text message that went out to students after the shooting that kind of implied they were safe to go about their business. The shooter had been caught, that a suspect had been apprehended, which wasn't true, wasn't the case at the time. No one knew where the suspect was when that text went out, letting students know and implying to students that they could just go out on campus about their business. Now, thankfully, nothing happened with the shooter still at large. And we now know he was able to actually leave campus and make it home to Washington County and was no longer on campus. But we didn't know that at the time. This could have been very dangerous for students. And so why that text went out was a legitimate question everybody had, telling students to just go about their business, basically. So Utah Valley University announced today they will be hiring an independent company to do a bit of an audit, review of the planning and security response behind all of this. So they announced that it is in a phase of selecting a vendor. And again, I don't know if they have to put this out to bid or if they can just pick somebody, but a spokesperson for the school, Ellen Trainer, in a press release today said that they were officially starting this process. In an interview with the Salt Lake Tribune, though, she declined to say more about the scope of the independent review, including how much UVU anticipates it will cost to have the review done and when it will be completed. But she did say that they will follow their quote normal procedures for this type of review, and then concluded the phone call with the Tribune saying we don't have any other comments on this at this time. The school said, again, this was originally just a very short, like 3-sentence news release. But they did say in the news release that they hope the review will detail what the school could have done better, as well as how to strengthen safety practices, both at UVU and across Utah's public universities, colleges, and future. Which implies, to me, the press release didn't say this, and this is why people have a lot of questions. But the press release implies that they'll be also looking at not just how the school responded to this event, but maybe more broadly looking at how the tragedy happened in the first place. How was someone able to get on campus for this amount of time with a weapon that should have been pretty obvious? How they were able to sit prone on top of a building, pretty noticeable to anyone looking, and not be noticed for a decent amount of time. How this person was also able to then jump down off the building and run across campus and escape. But again, I'm tea leaf reading there. I don't know that they're going to look into that. I know that the FBI will be. I know that Utah's Department of Public Safety will be. But for this specific internal probe, basically, that they're looking for an independent company to run, it's unclear whether that will be in the scope of the probe. But how the school responded after Charlie Kirk was shot definitely will be. So we'll see, I guess. Utah Valley President Astrid Tumenez also released a statement today after the press release went out and said, "We believe the findings of the comprehensive third-party independent review of this targeted act of political violence will offer valuable insights on how college campuses can improve responses and preparedness moving forward." So again, kind of hinting that they're more going to be looking at how the school responded after Kirk was shot, not necessarily how a person was able to get on top of a campus building with a rifle in the first place. So for those who have asked, I don't know. But my take on the statements that have been released is that this will be a more limited audit of their security response after Kirk was shot. But as far as the broader investigation goes, the FBI is looking into that. Utah Department of Public Safety and law enforcement are a part of that investigation as well. So it's not that no one's looking into that. It just, to me at least, sounds like the school, with this announcement today, is going to be looking more specifically at their response after the shot occurred. So the review is expected to also look at how many officers Utah Valley University has in general and how many they had assigned to cover the Kirk event that day. That's also come into question, and we'll see on that. The school has said that I believe this was, let me double check. Yes, this was a Salt Lake Tribune interview. The school said that it had 8 officers present at the Kirk event, 6 in uniform and 2 in plain clothes, and then that they'd coordinated and worked with Kirk himself, who had his own personal security team that they'd bring with them for these events. And the police, University UVU Police Chief Jeff Long had said previously, I remember, that his statement was, you try to cover all the bases, and unfortunately today we didn't. And people weren't happy with that comment. So he's later clarified and said, obviously we didn't do something right. And so, yeah. The probe, again, no word on when it starts. They're still looking for an independent company to do it, and no word whatsoever on the scope or how long this review will take place. Senator Ann Milner did speak up on this. She's a former president of a college, Weber State University, in fact, and she said that she's happy to see them announce an external review, hiring a third party to do the review. She said the entire process in an external review is neutral and unbiased and will provide some evidence-based solutions from the review, grounded in the facts of not just this situation, but campus security in general. And Milner said in her own statement today, as a former president of a university, of course, she said, this one immediately made me think of my time as president and what we did to keep campus safe. She said, once the review and criminal investigations both are complete, that will then be the appropriate time for conversations about what UVU and other universities in Utah do to improve things going forward. She said, right now we need to allow them to proceed without distractions. So that was a statement from former Weber State President and current state senator Ann Milner in light of the announcement today. So general updates starting the show here today. On the other side, again, as you heard during the news break at the top of the hour, measles case in Cache Valley and some details about where likely exposure took place, but also a lot of people with questions of who should get the vaccine, where can you get the vaccine, what are the symptoms of measles. We'll cover it all. I talked to our friends at the Bear River Health Department, and they said along, well, basically everything they know. We'll talk about it after this look at the news with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Thank you, Jason. Smithfield City Councilman Ted Stokes has resigned from his position, citing what he called vile and disgusting communications that he received after a video of his confrontation with police was made public. Now, in a letter to Smithfield residents, Stokes apologized for the attention that had been brought to the city. He said that while many people had been kind and supportive, others had been vile and disgusting, leaving him with no other choice than to resign and protect his family. Now, in his letter, Stokes also defended his past actions as a council member, saying that he was elected to address concerns about the size and quality of the police department. He said that he spoke with other law enforcement agencies in Cache County and found a fairly uniform opinion that the Smithfield Police Department was lacking in many regards. Now, he also claimed the department was not attending valley-wide trainings or police chief meetings. Now, the Smithfield Police Department has not yet commented on the claims made by Stokes. The incident that led to Stokes' resignation occurred back in August when police officers were called to his home after his son was involved in a car crash. Now, a body camera video of the encounter showed Stokes threatening to defund the police department and saying that he would ensure that there would only be 5 police officers in the town. Now, despite his resignation, Stokes said he has no animus toward law enforcement, as many of his friends and family are in the profession. Meanwhile, a 17-year-old boy stabbed at a high school parking lot during a homecoming dance that happened Saturday night in Spanish Fork. Police said they responded to the Maple Mountain High School just after 9:20 and found a victim with stab wounds to his leg. He was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, according to police, an altercation between multiple juveniles in the parking lot had led to the stabbing. A 16-year-old suspect allegedly stabbed the victim and then fled the scene. Officers later located that suspect and booked him into a juvenile detention center. And one dog was killed, and a number of families' belongings were destroyed in a house fire that happened in Clearfield early yesterday morning. Now, officials with the North Davis Fire District said they responded to the fire at about 1:15 in the morning. The family was not home at the time, but 2 dogs were inside. The fire, which started outside, had spread up the back of the house and into the attic. Now, while the flames were being extinguished, one dog, a chow named Kush Kush, was killed in the incident. The other dog survived. They were in a room with a closed door. Now, according to one of the residents, Marissa Reed, the fire damaged almost everything they own. A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the family. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has added now 12 new hymns to its collection called Hymns for Home and Church. Now, the hymns, with lyrics available in English, Spanish, Portuguese, and French, are all a part of an ongoing effort to update the faith's music. Now, among the new additions is the hymn called Our Prayer to Thee. It features lyrics that were written by church president Russell M. Nelson. Now, the hymn was first published in 2003 and has been performed at several general conferences. Well, as we head through the rest of the afternoon, temperatures staying a little cooler as we've been only in the low 70s today, still calling for a small chance we could see some isolated thunderstorms through the rest of the afternoon. As we head into tonight, though, temperatures going to drop into the low 40s, going to clear up, and tomorrow we'll see sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-70s, then get back into the 80s by the middle to end of this week. And weather this hour brought to you by Logan Extermination, helping you win the bug battle and keep wasps and spiders out of your house. Give them a call to have your home's exterior sprayed. It's 752-8450 for Logan Extermination. And I'm Will Feelwright. Get more on these and other stories at kvnutalk.com and the KVNU mobile app, available at the Google Play Store and Apple App Store. I'll have another check of your local headlines coming up at 5:05 here on KVNU.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump announcing the FDA will notify doctors that pregnant women should limit the use of increased risk of autism of Tylenol. ABC's Selena Wang has more.
Doctors leading into this had been concerned that this announcement would fuel confusion and that mothers who are expecting would not take Tylenol when they have high fevers, as we know that these fevers can cause risks for pregnancies. And it was quite striking to see the president giving direct medical advice to expecting mothers, telling them not to take Tylenols unless they have a very high fever and they, quote, can't tough it out.
A coalition of autism scientists released a statement that, quote, strongly opposes the Trump administration's link between Tylenol and autism, saying in part the data cited doesn't support the claim. At the UN today, France's president joined more than 140 other countries recognizing a Palestinian state. The U.S. and Israel oppose a two-state solution. This is ABC News.
For over a decade, Roof Rescue has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We understand the value of your time. That's why we're committed to replacing most roofs in just one day. With award-winning service, 100% guaranteed workmanship, and the best warranties in the industry, your watertight peace of mind is guaranteed. Call us today at 435-999-4268 or visit roofrescueusa.com and ask for the $250 off any roof replacement. Financing available? That's roofrescueusa.com.
Bringing Wall Street to Main Street. From your local experts in downtown Logan, this is the Adams Wealth Advisors Market Report.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stocks surging to start the week with the S&P notching a new record high Monday after a big boost from NVIDIA. after the computer chip maker announced a new $100 billion investment with open AI and data centers. The Dow Jones closed up 66 points ahead. The Nasdaq also gaining 157 to round out the day. Looking to join the ranks of Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, Pfizer looks to jump back into obesity treatments by purchasing 4.9 billion shares on the development stage drug maker Metsera, which are currently working on a possible range of weight loss medications. Earlier this year, Pfizer ended development of their own once-daily pill before it started late-stage testing. Officials from Spirit Airlines announced they will furlough more than 18,000 flight attendants by December 1st as they struggle to cut costs ahead of their second bankruptcy in less than a year. Those removals will come just weeks before the start of the busy holiday travel season.
That's your update from Adams Wealth Advisors, guiding your financial future one day at a time. For personalized help planning yours, reach out to us at 435-752-1702. See you soon, Cache Valley. Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
As a lifelong Idahoan, I know the importance of defending our values and protecting our way of life. I'm Congressman Mike Simpson, and I'm proud to work alongside President Trump to deliver our conservative agenda for Idaho families, driving down inflation, securing the border, and returning to American energy independence. It's an honor to be your voice in Congress and to fight for a stronger, safer, and more prosperous nation. To learn more about my work in Washington and across Idaho, visit simpson.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Brethren, don't cut me off when I'm going. Pop, pop.
Welcome back to KVA News for the People. A lot of questions coming our way today about measles, understandably. Utah Department of Health announcing via the Bear River Health Department that the first, well, as far as we know, the first confirmed case of the measles here in Logan, in northern Utah. This comes amid, a growing number of cases. They've nearly tripled since July here in Utah, and kind of an anti-vaccine trend that has gripped many communities. Likely the reason for this. So health officials are first and foremost reminding everyone to check for symptoms. One of the challenges with measles is it can take 2 weeks after actually getting the virus to exhibit any symptoms. And during that time, you can spread it. So that's one of the primary concerns. Symptoms are pretty much like, this is the trouble, I think, with flu season. We saw this during the pandemic with COVID as well. Many of the symptoms are things that many of us have this time of year anyway. Cough, runny nose, red and bloodshot eyes. If you have allergies like mine, I'm walking around that way 24/7. But when it becomes that plus a sore throat and a fever, then you know you're sick. Koplik spots, these are the tiny white spots with red centers that will usually appear inside the mouth before it becomes a red blotchy rash, usually starting on the face or at the hairline, and then spreads downwards. It'll actually go all the way to your feet if you let it go. And that rash can sometimes then become raised, and then the patches actually join, and it's bad news, and it's dangerous, and it does kill. The high fever is usually how that occurs. So just like the flu, fever, especially as high as it can get with the measles, 104 or more. This can be deadly for children and the elderly, the fever itself. So there's great concern about this. One case is no reason to panic, but for those who want to be more careful, the details we do know, as Will said in the news break, a few details on this, and health guidelines prevent releasing a name or anything like that. But what they are saying is that likely exposure occurred around September 11th at both the South Chick-fil-A and the Budge Clinic. So gives you an idea of when exposure for this individual likely occurred. to help you if you're wondering if you may have been exposed or if some of the symptoms you have that you're sitting there playing that game. Is it hay fever because of the warm days and cool days and the wind and the rain? Or is it measles or the flu or COVID? I know it's this fun game we all play now, right? Like I say, cough, runny nose, red and bloodshot eyes. If that plus a sore throat and a fever develop, you're sick. I mean, that's a given. If you have concerns about sick with what, obviously contact your doctor. Other questions we've gotten here today on the vaccine. Who should get it? Anyone can get it unless you have a history of allergic reaction to a vaccine, or if you are, sometimes you can run into complications with vaccines if you are allergic to penicillin and other sulfa-based suspendants, they call them, that they basically soak that float the real active ingredients in. So talk to your doctor on that. But if you've never had issue with any other vaccine when you were a child or as an adult, best thing to do. Another question we're getting is it possible to get the measles if you have had it or been vaccinated? Yes, but it is extremely rare. No vaccine is 100% effective. But this 2-dose vaccine is considered 97% effective, which means 3% of those who get the vaccine can still get measles. But even those who do, of that 3% of those who get the vaccine who still end up getting measles, they have a much milder illness, rarely ended up hospitalized. And it's the same thing we learned with the COVID vaccine, basically. And that they're also less contagious. They don't spread it to as many people because, again, you can have it for 2 weeks before you know you have it. If you've had measles before, you have something that is considered lifetime immunity, and that typically results in a pretty strong immunity to the measles. But there have been cases where someone has gotten the measles as a young person or a teen, and then they get it again as an adult. So they recommend that even if you've had the measles before, talk to your doctor about getting a vaccine. And that's the easiest way to get it. Either your child's pediatrician or your own doctor. You can start there. If you don't know if you've had the vaccine, of course, you can check your records. And one thing you can do if you are having trouble with that, talk to the Bear River Health Department. They can actually help you get those records if you've lost them or if it's just been so long you don't even know where you put them. They can help you do that. Your doctor's office can as well. And then you can also get any MMR vaccine at pharmacies and community health clinics and even at the Bear River Health Department itself around the valley, though you do want to call and make an appointment to make sure they actually have one on hand, especially where this news is just broken. There may be quite a demand for the measles vaccine out there. So, and for full protection, again, you do need 2 doses, and depending on your situation, that will either be 2 weeks to 4 weeks apart, recommended. And they do make vaccines for adults and older children that are different than those that are designed for young children. And that's basically everything you need to know. As for who shouldn't get the vaccine, again, it's a very short list. It is basically anyone, if you've ever had a serious allergic reaction to any previous MMR vaccine or antibiotics. And if you're pregnant, now that's not a for sure no, but you do want to talk to your doctor about that because there are a lot of things they want to look at first. And if you have a severely weakened immune system due to an illness or a previous treatment, you're going to want to wait to get the vaccine until you've recovered from that. So that's everything that we know. And again, as far as this case in Cache Valley, they're saying likely exposure or areas of interest as far as where they're looking for additional exposure. The Chick-fil-A in Providence around September 11th and the Budge Clinic around the same time. So we'll keep you posted. And again, as far as now, Utah is not nearly as bad as Texas on this right now. But the state health department is keeping a really close eye on Utah County right now, where most of that, again, I mentioned that cases have tripled here in Utah just since July. They're officially calling that an outbreak. And that is mostly centered in the Utah County area, where a lot of those, anti-vaccination movements have kind of been centered here in Utah. So talk to your doctor if that's not an option for you, or if you need to inquire about records and when you were vaccinated or when your children last were vaccinated. Talk to the Bear River Health Department. They can help you sort those records out. And we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
Hi, this is Jenna and Lori from InWest Title. We're truly honored to be named a winner of this year's Best of Northern Utah contest. This community means everything to us, and we're grateful for every customer who made this possible. As your Utah title company, here at InWest Title, we truly believe that what we do matters. Thank you for your trust.
Weather changes are tough on your transmission. As we move to colder winter weather, AMCO Transmission invites you to bring your vehicle in for preventative maintenance before the snow flies. Have a diesel pickup, Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke? AMCO in Logan is your transmission specialist, and they promise to get you in quickly. For over 50 years, AMCO Total Car Care has been experts in repair for transmissions, brakes, tune-ups, and more. Find your local AMCO. 75 East, 2000 North, 752-1940.
Hear that? That's the sound of a sad bird. He says your trees are so overgrown and ragged, he can't find a place to perch and sing you a happy song. Hear that? That bird is warning you. He says if you don't prune your branches before the next windstorm, they might end up in your living room. Yep, another talking bird. This one says call Hall Tree Care. Smart birds. Call Hull Tree Care and get 10% off. 760-6587. That's 760-6587.
For 248 years, proud patriots have defended our freedom as American soldiers. One of the best ways to honor their service is through the Army Historical Foundation's Registry of the American Soldier. Open to all Army veterans, this free registry allows veterans or a loved one on their behalf to create a permanent public record of their service. No soldier's story should be forgotten. Learn more at armyhistory.org. That's armyhistory.org. Sponsored by Army Historical Foundation, Inc.
After 5 years of working on it, Utah State University finally, in an announcement today, got the official good job, attaboy, thumbs up from the Department of Justice. This all started back in 2020 after students and even some faculty members brought to light, nicest way to say it is some really poor policies and bad responses to allegations of sexual assault and sexual harassment on campus. The university dropped the ball, and they were the first to agree when these complaints came to light from students and again, even a couple of faculty members. So it was so bad the Department of Justice got involved, and that's pretty typical. If a university is really struggling along these lines, Title IX and other federal law basically allow for the Department of Justice to step in and handhold until things are cleaned up. And so that's what happened. So there was a long process that led to a 2020 resolution agreement, with the Department of Justice of Utah State University saying basically, okay, we've all agreed on what needs to happen here, and here is what we're agreeing to do about it. And today, Interim President Alan Smith announced that they'd completed, they'd checked everything off the list. Smith called it an important moment for Utah State University and said that it reflects years of effort to strengthen policies, beef up training and support systems for students and faculty both. And since the agreement was put in place, USU has made some pretty sweeping changes. Campus culture and organizational structure have been a big focus of that. The university also revised sexual misconduct, grievance, and reporting policies, and clarifying employee responsibilities for reporting as well, which was another area that they were dinged back in 2020. Greatly expanding training and education efforts, Smith said, was their primary focus, and then mandatory in-person sessions for incoming residential students and an annual online training for continuing students. The university also launched this big awareness and a campus-wide campaign for awareness and culture building, they called it, to foster a better culture on campus. And Cody Carmichael, according to the story here at CacheValleyDaily.com, if you want to read more, USU's Title IX coordinator Cody Carmichael said the university's systems now not only meet federal standards, but offer a consistency that has built trust across campus from the student feedback that they've received. So good news. It took a while, honestly, and it probably should take a while to complete these kinds of things, but really good news for Utah State University. And they are officially, the Department of Justice has said they completed it. The hand-holding will end, although I'm sure the Department of Justice will still be keeping an eye on things to see where improvements can be made. All around good news for students and faculty and the university itself. Full story again with some background, more detail on the background that I quickly summarized there in the story at CacheValleyDaily.com. I've linked to that on our Facebook page. On the other side, what Utah lawmakers had to say and argue about with each other today in the first day of a new court-ordered redistricting process. They'll be redrawing the congressional boundaries for our federal delegation here in Utah after a court ruling said they ignored the voters' will when voters approved Prop 4. It didn't start off so smooth today in day one, to be honest. Why and what was said, we've got some audio clips for you and more. That's coming up in hour 2 of today's show right after this here on KVNU Logan.